Hi guys. All right, today is the 1st of February. We did our math retest today. Tutorials for reading are going to be Thursday. And then make sure you read the section on Friday for our science investigation that we're going to be doing this week. And all right, so here on Monday we started off and we did a division review and retest. And so all of this is in Seesaw. When you go to your activities, go down to week 22 math. All right, so here's my work for each of those. You can pause and look at that. And the first one says we've got Max's soccer team, and they collected some food in April, and then they collected some food. All right, so some food in April, and then some other food in May. And so I went ahead and I took this one out of the way. I took that information and I put it up here at top. Here's the amount for April. Here's the amount for May. Then the items were going to be shared. Well, before I can share them, I needed to find the total. So we added those up, and this was just one amount plus another amount, and we got 376. And then we separated 4 boxes to show that it's going to 4 families. And to find out how much each family gets, we divided it by 4, and we got 94. Then in this second problem that we did together, this one is about packs of paper, and Bianca bought 8 of them, and in every single pack, she has 64 sheets. So on this one, if you look right here, here's my 8 packs, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down. Each pack has 64 sheets, so we put 64 inside. And same thing, before we go and try to start splitting them, we needed the total first. So we did 64 times 8, which equals 512. Then we're taking that total and we're dividing it by 2 to get it equally into 2 pieces, into 2 folders. So we did the division and we got 256. And so how many sheets of paper will be in each folder? 256. So each of these had those hidden questions in there to where you had to find the totals before you went and did anything else. And when you represent all the information down in these strip diagrams, it's easy to see why this one is you're adding because you've got just 2 amounts and you're combining them together. And then this one, it's still adding, but it's 64 plus 64 plus 64 plus 64. Well, that's way too many 64s to add. So we just multiply them, 64 times 8. And then that's why we multiplied there to get that total. So we did that. Tomorrow we're going to get into our geometry. So we wrapped up with division, and students needed to do those corrections. All of the tests are in Seesaw, so they can go click on that and get that corrected. And then the assignments, their independent work for the week is on Google Classroom. And it's right here, Monday through Friday, independent work. There's 20 problems total for the week, so I asked them to do 4 for each day. And then you can follow along on the agenda for the group information. So I met with group A and B, and group C needed to do the Edpuzzle. All those links are on Google Classroom. Then the second part that we did for reading today is also in Seesaw. And this is under week 22 whole group. All right, so week 22 reading whole group. And this first page here has a tracker. I want everybody doing 10 minutes of eSpark each day and 20 minutes of independent reading. So it has the little green check marks where you can check off and keep track of your times and everything there. Then this week we're getting into Reader's Theater, talking about drama. So today we talked about some of the elements of drama. So when we see a drama, these are the things that we can expect it to have. So we went over the vocabulary here and talked about that. And then we examined those elements within the story, The Ant and the Grasshopper. So we all got, if you go to page, oh no, on this page we talked about the stage. The story's on page 4, The Ant and the Grasshopper. So we read that. But before we did that, we talked about this. So we said with the stage, everything's kind of backwards. So when you see stage left, it's from the actor's point of view. So if the actor is standing and they're facing me, we're going to be reversed. So stage left to them is to their left, but if we're looking at the stage, it's on the right hand side. So it's kind of a little switched. And so here, areas on the stage are named from the actor's point of view. So look up right, down left, stage left, up stage, down stage. Here's where the audience is. So everything's kind of a little backwards there, but think of it from if you are on stage, the actor facing out what your left would be. All right, then we talked about one thing, a lot of these have the same kind of things within them. So like when we read fiction, like we had characters, we had dialogue, we had, the message, the problem, the solution. A lot of these things are very similar. One thing though that sets out or sets apart the dramas from a fiction story or nonfiction or something like that is these the scenes or the stage directions thing. Those are, when you see those stage directions on there, you're like, okay, I know I'm reading a drama. All right, so we read The Ant and the Grasshopper, and then we broke into breakout rooms and we talked about what the setting is, whether this was nonfiction or fiction, what the function of, so this one had 2 narrators, so we talked about what their function was, and then what was the message. And then on page 5, students took the boxes and put them where they went, whether it was the plot, what happened in the story, and put these in order, or the theme. What was the big idea? So theme, think lesson. What did the author want you to learn as you were reading The Ant and the Grasshopper? And so we did that. And then over here, if you go down, all of the groups have new books. So group A is reading Animals Feel Emotions. Group B is reading The Polar Regions of Earth. Group C is reading Puffin. So we've all got a different animal book. And every single group today just did some book previews and talked about some things that we already know before we get into reading. And then in writing today, we worked on a couple different things, so that's in Seesaw as well. So go to activities, go to week 22 writing whole group. And the first part here, we broke it into different sections. All right, so Monday, we just got to this first box. We didn't get to both. All right, so Monday, we read Oh Brother, and this is a story about, it gives you some background information here. And this is a story about Olivia. Her teacher asked her to write about a member of her family, so she writes about her brother. And she writes about all these, all of these, negative things about her brother. And then she starts talking about, well, actually, he's got some positives too. So then she starts realizing, all these positive things. So maybe she'll keep them around. So we read Olivia's paper, and it had some things in there that we needed to revise and edit, and we were kind of picking them out. We could spot some as we were reading, but then we had to go back and look at these questions. So this first one says, what change should be made in sentence 4? So we went to sentence 4, reread it, and we decided that there needed to be a comma after the word brother, because this was taking 2 sentences and combining them into one. So then we went and practiced, that had to do with fanboys. So we went and practiced fanboys. And this is something that we talked about at the beginning of the year. And we had a formula when we first started talking about it. And the formula was you take the first part of the sentence, you add a comma, then the fanboy, and then the second part of the second sentence, and then you're in punctuation. So here we practice with a couple of these. The rain pounded against the windows, period. The wind wailed through the trees, period. Okay, so here it's talking about something that the rain and the wind did. So we combined them and we said the rain pounded against the window. So there's that first sentence, comma, there's the comma there. The fanboy that we used was and because we were combining the two things. We were saying this is what this is doing and this is what this is doing. So we used the fanboy and then we added the second sentence. The wind wailed through the trees and then our end punctuation with the period. The second part, we couldn't go outside to play. We were happy the drought had ended. So this one, we decided that those kind of contradicted each other. So we needed the comma and the fanboy but. So we couldn't go outside to play, comma, but we were happy the drought had ended, period. All right, this one, would you like to play chess to pass the time? Would you rather play Monopoly? So this one we used or. Okay, so with or, it's not a both thing, or they're not contradicting. You're either getting this or you're doing this. So would you like to play chess or would you rather play Monopoly? One or the other. Okay, so would you like to play chess to pass the time, comma, or would you rather play Monopoly? All right, so we worked on those. And then we didn't get to this second one, so we'll just move that. I'll just take that off for Monday. We'll hopefully get to that soon. We squeeze it in with one of these other days that only has one. Alrighty. Oh, I shouldn't have gotten out of that. Forgot the whole second part. All right, for the second part, we worked with a new prompt, and this prompt is all about favorite animals. So we were talking about how we access our library resources. And open this back up. So we went to the library resources. You can go straight to the Fox Run website, or you can go to the Launchpad, and there's a library page there that has the direct links. And you've got all of the you've got all of the you've got all of the encyclopedias and things like that on there. You've got PebbleGo. Any of those can be used. But we're writing about which animal we think is the most interesting. So we're picking an interesting animal, and then we are explaining why it is. So Monday, I put on here, pick an animal that you think others would find interesting. Remember, you're writing for an audience. Pick something creative that is going to keep them interested. Log into Epic or any other resources on the library resource page to gather interesting information about your animal. So you're going to put whatever your animal is. So let's say you did, mine was the sparkle muffin spider. Yes, it's a true thing. And so I filled in that, and then all around here, I would go and I would research and I would gather information about it and put it here. Now, this is not, oh my goodness, sorry, I can't stop yawning. Oh, goodness. This is not just, this is not opinions. These are specifically facts. So you're not going to put, oh, the sparkle muffin spider is the cutest spider out of all of them. That's an opinion. Go and find actual facts, and those are going to be added in later to our body. So here's my, here's mine that I wrote about my sparkle muffin. So I want you to think about some things that you can look at. So mine, I specifically went and researched these things because I was thinking, okay, I looked at a picture of it and I was like, okay, I can talk about its beautiful colors. I can talk about how it's a predator, and I can talk about its really cool name. So then I started my paper off. I said, what makes an animal interesting? Is it beautiful colors? Is it ruthless predatory actions? Or is it just a really cool name? Well, what if I told you there's a spider in Australia that checks all of these boxes? Let me introduce you to the sparkle muffin spider, my top pick for the most interesting animal. So then, so I'm like thinking in my head, okay, what kind of things am I going to want to talk about? Okay, I want to talk about this, this, and this. And then I went back, and those are the things that I'm going to research in my paper. Not my paper, the library resources. Those are the things that I'm going to go look at because I'm going to want to write about them more down here. So I wanted to, I need to go look those up so that I'll have that information later in my paper. So we got our animal and we got our facts. All right, so now we can drop that. All right, in science today, we went to the agenda and there's a link right here. And we looked at, well, first we got our journals out and we did a writing prompt, and they had about, let me open this up. They had about 7 minutes or so to write, and it started off, what if there was no tilt? Okay, so they wrote what we thought, and then we did an activity, and then we got some information about, what might happen if there was no tilt. So you can pause that and get that. And then on this website right here, you see here's Earth, you see the equator, you see the North Pole, you see the Alaska, and then you've got some different cities. Like here's one in Australia. You've got in Chicago, you've got in Alaska. So you click right here up. Let me move me. You click right here, continue to interactive, and you've got here showing where the sun is and the earth, and it's orbiting around, and you can choose different months. So I can go from January, February, March, April, all the way around, and it shows you different views. Then you can go here and you can look at the bottom and you can look at like a bird's eye view. And then here, right now, the tilt is on. So you can see it's got a 23.5 degree tilt. I can click this and turn the tilt off. And I'm looking for differences. So when I go and look at Anchorage, so here they are in Alaska, the little dot there that's up top. And when the tilt is off, we notice that the daylight hours all are the same. But when the tilt is on, the daylight hours are a lot less. And so when you have this tilt, these this all of the sunlight is coming across, and it has to spread out over a big distance, and all of that heat and that light has to get spread out. It doesn't change. It's the same amount going and hitting that spot, but it has to spread out over this greater distance. So you get colder temperatures and you get less daylight, versus when you turn the tilt off. Now it warms up because it's getting more direct sunlight, and the amount of hours are all going to be the same no matter where you are here. It's hitting it the same. It's getting that more direct light instead of that more of that angled. And you can click through here and go to different months and click on different cities and turn it on and turn it off, and you can see that. So then in our notebook, we wrote in there about the temperature changes and then about how the daylight hours would be the same if there was no tilt. All right, so that was that. Then we went to Scratch and we started working on our coding. And then in social studies today, we were talking about life as a pioneer and what it was like as people were traveling and going and heading west. And as the second one was all about the wagon. And so we were talking about what that would be like. And then we went and we did Monday's article with the questions. And so the article was all about a 10-year-old boy's experience as his family is moving. So you kind of get his point of view about how things were, and thinking what that would be like as you're traveling, and there's no McDonald's, or what if you have to go to the bathroom, and just all of that. So how different things were. And so then in our intervention time, we did some questions that were in Seesaw. So if you go to your activities, there's one down here called Monday Intervention Enrichment. So we did that. And that was it. All right, so again, this week, Tuesday, regular day. I forgot to put in here. Wednesday is an early release, and so is Thursday. Okay, so those will be getting out a bit early. And Wednesday too. So I sent out another link for conferences. So if your parent is wanting a conference, please have them use that link to sign up. And then I can't think of anything else. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.